الله من الشيطان الرجيم ما آتاكم الرسول فخذوه وما نهاكم عنه فانتهوا صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. عن معاذ قال أوصاني رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بعشر كلمات قال لا تشرك بالله شيئا وإن قتلت وحرقت ولا تعقن والديك وإن أمراك أن تخرج من أهلك ومالك ولا تتركن صلاة مكتوبة متعمدا فإن من ترك صلاة مكتوبة متعمدا فقد برئت منه ذمة الله ولا تشربن خمرا فإنه رأس كل فاحشة وإياك والمعصية فإن بالمعصية حل سخط الله وإياك والفرار من الزحف وإن هلك الناس وإذا أصاب الناس موت وأنت فيهم فاثبت وأنفق على عيالك من طولك ولا ترفع عنهم عصاك أدبا وأخفهم في الله. This hadith, the last two sentences of this we recited and explained about 2 or 3 weeks back, and then we changed the topic, but this hadith should be completed inshallah. This is the hadith of Ma'ad ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu, was one of the ulama among Sahaba. He was a great Sahabi, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, about very few Sahaba, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has clearly, specifically by taking their name said that I love you. Al-Ma'az is one of those Sahaba about whom the Prophet ﷺ has taken his name and said that Ma'az, I love you. He is saying that the Prophet ﷺ at one time instructed me or gave me wasiyat, advised me of 10 things. بعشر كلمات قال لا تشرك بالله شيئا وإن قتلت وحرقت. Do not associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not commit shirk. وَإِن قُتِلْتَ وَحُرِّقْتَ, that even if you may be killed or burnt alive. And this is the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that before anyone associates any partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with heart, they should shed their life, they should give up their life. If a situation comes when they have to choose between associating a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or choosing between their life, they should give up their life, because this life is temporary. If someone loses this life in this world, they are only going to have the most major loss of this world, which is temporary. But if they associate a partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with their heart, in their belief, then they are going to destroy their life of eternity, their permanent life. The fuqaha have said that if a situation comes when the life of a person is in danger, and if by saying kalima kufr or shirk only with their tongue and not believing in that in their heart, it is permissible, rather required, to say the kalima kufr or kalima shirk only with their tongues and save their lives. And if it so happens with someone that they are put in a situation where they say the shirk or kufr only with their tongue, and they know for sure that that will save their life, then they can do so. This is about Sayyidina Ma'ad ibn Jabal. And in Sharia, it should be well understood that there is rulings that are different for different people. If somebody is of extreme level of taqwa, then there will be different rulings for them. If somebody is of a very low level of taqwa, a very crystal clear example of this, he traveled to a distant town of India where he found out that the people were barely Muslims. They were asked of kalima, they did not know kalima. What, let alone salah, let alone anything else. Then he asked them, why do you call themselves Muslim? On what basis do you call yourselves Muslims? And they said that we in Muharram take out the ta'ziyah. You understand what ta'ziyah is? He said, it's something that's impermissible in Islam. Something that is clearly haram, not permissible in Islam. But they said that we are Muslims and our identity as Muslims, the identifying thing of us as Muslims is that we take out ta'ziyah. Hazrat said to them, you should keep on taking it out. You should keep on doing that. Because this was the only thing that they had remaining upon the basis of which they associated themselves with Islam. If Hazrat forbade them to even do that, they would start calling themselves non-Muslim. So even the tiniest impression of Islam that they have, that will go away. So in Sharia, there is different ahkamat for different people. If somebody is on a higher level of taqwa, then the demand will be higher for them. For example, a few weeks back we said that for the Sahaba, it was said that if they went in the company of the Prophet ﷺ and they raised their voice the tiniest bit, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has declared in the Quran that your deeds will be wasted and you will not even know about it. This is such a strict ruling. But it is for the Sahaba. The Sahaba are also of a very high level of taqwa. So all the rulings that are given in Hadith and Quran about the Sahaba, before applying them to our lives here today, we have to consult the ulama. The ulama and fuqaha say that if a person runs into a situation where their life will be saved by saying something that includes kufr or shirk, then they are allowed to do so only with their tongue. If they leave that belief in their heart as well, then there is no difference between them in a kafir and between them. وَلَا تَعُقَّنَّ وَالِدَيْكَ وَإِنْ أَمَرَاكَ أَن تَخْرُجَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ وَمَالِكَ. And do not disobey your parents even if they command you to leave your family and all your wealth and go out. So this is again of the same thing, that of course the right of parents is huge. The Dr. Abdul Hayy Sahib rahimahullah Arfi used to say that parents are the only creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made. He used to use these words, mazhar-e rububiyat, the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Rabb. We went over the meaning of that in detail, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being Rabb is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you and trains you and increases you in capacity and gives you those things when you need them. Not when you ask them, but when you need them and when they are better for you, when they are the best for you. Had used to say that only your parents are that creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put a reflection of this quality of His being Rabb in your parents. Because they are the ones who cater to your needs before you can even ask. And they do it the right way for you. And when you need it the most. And when you may be crying for something, if they know that this is not good for you, they are not going to give it to you. And you may be hating something, but they will do it to you when they think and they know that it is good for you. So this is in a way a reflection of that high quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not given it to any creation. Only the parents selflessly do it for you. And the parents have such a high right upon their children, upon their offsprings, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned them, being thankful to them right after His own self. There's two hadiths to this subject that I've just recalled. One is that in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ has Actually, in this hadith as well, right after shirk and kufr, the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about not disobeying your parents. So this is something, and actually the other hadith that I was going to mention is also the same subject, that after shirk, a sahabi was asked, what is the biggest sin after shirk? He said, disobeying your parents. Disobeying your parents, hurting your parents. That is the biggest sin after shirk and kufr. And similarly, the biggest responsibility after salah, which is the highest of responsibilities, is to obey your parents. Even there have been instances when people would come to the Prophet ﷺ and would ask him permission to go in jihad alongside the Prophet ﷺ, and they were forbidden. Hazrat Uwais Qarni, rahimahullah, was not able to become a sahabi, although he loved the Prophet ﷺ so much more. He loved the Prophet ﷺ so much that when Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu and Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, if I remember correct, or either Hazrat Shaykhain or one of the two among the four Khulafa, went to see him, his love was such that he challenged them. The story is that he had broken all his teeth. When he got the news that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam lost a tooth in Uhud, he heard of it and then broke one of his teeth. Then he thought, I don't know if this was the one that was broken or there was some other tooth that was broken. So he broke another tooth, then another. So much so that just for the love of the Prophet ﷺ, in the love of the Prophet ﷺ, he broke all his teeth. When these two Sahaba, the Prophet ﷺ had asked them to go and meet Sayyidina Uwais Qarni and request him for dua, and request him for dua for the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. So when they met him, if I remember correct, I've heard it from somewhere, that these two Sahaba asked him that why did you break all your teeth? Why did you break all your teeth? And he said that, I mean, they were confused as what kind of love, what level of love is this? And he said that तुमने बहुत देखा है ना हुजूर अकरम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को, तुम्हें मालूम है कौन सा दांत टूटा था, तुम्हें मालूम है तुम्हें कौन सा दांत टूटा था. He talked to them like this, that you have seen the Prophet सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम, you are Sahaba, do you know which tooth was broken? If I remember the narration correct. Anyway, so this person who was so much in love with the Prophet ﷺ, he was not allowed to come and meet the Prophet ﷺ only because his mother was old and needed his help. So he was commanded by the Prophet ﷺ to stay there. People were stopped from going to jihad, fighting alongside the Prophet ﷺ because of the service that was needed to their parents by them. But when the ruling for the common person is, according to the fuqaha and ulama, is that when parents, number it is said very clearly in the Quran that when they command you to do shirk or kufr, then do not follow them. But immediately after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, still talk with them politely, still respect them. That should not become an excuse for you to be disrespectful to them. So if parents command someone to leave their family and leave their wealth, the best line of action is that they should consult the ulama and explain their situation to the ulama, that such and such thing is going on, and then what should I do? Because the ulama are the only one who can judge if this command of these parents is just or unjust. If it is an unjust command, then it does not remain necessary to follow that command. But still, what should be kept in mind is that even looking at your parents, looking at your father in the eye, or to give him even a disrespectful look, let alone utter a disrespectful word, is haram. is forbidden by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and is really despised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all respect of our parents. It comes about, I think, Sayyidina Ibn Umar radiallahu anh, that he was making Hajj and there was a young man who was making tawaf and he was carrying his mother on his shoulders, and the weather was severe. It was too hot or it was raining, and there was very few people making tawaf at that time. And he was making tawaf and crying out loud that I am her ride, I am her camel. When all the other rides would stay in their homes or would not want to come out in this weather, I am carrying her on my shoulder and becoming her ride. And then he called out to Sayyidina Ibn Umar, who was also making tawaf, that, "O Ibn Umar, have I fulfilled the right of my mother? Have I fulfilled the right of my mother?" He said, "No, you haven't repaid her for even the tiniest cramp that she had when she was giving birth to you." May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us an understanding of the station of our parents. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us not make us among the ones who are negligent about this. وَلَا تَتْرُكَنَّ صَلَاةً مَكْتُوبَةً مُتَعَمِّدًا فَإِنَّ مَنْ تَرَكَ صَلَاةً مَكْتُوبَةً مُتَعَمِّدًا فَقَدْ بَرِئَتْ مِنْهُ ذِمَّةُ اللَّهِ. The third is about salah, and salat of the maktuba, salat al maktuba. Salat al maktuba basically means first salah. The Prophet ﷺ said that do not leave a first salah, for verily, definitely, without doubt, whoever even leaves one first salah willingly, knowingly, consciously, muta'ammidan, faqad bari'at minhu zimmatullah, then for them there is no responsibility upon Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free of their responsibility. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this bad situation to be in. Hazrat al-Fasiri have given different explanations of this, that what is the meaning of bari'at zimmatullah. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah and other fuqaha, a huge group of fuqaha, have used this hadith to give the injunction, to give the ruling that whoever leaves one first salah goes out of the circle of Islam. Whoever leaves one first salah goes out of the circle of Islam. Although Imam Abu Hanifa is of a different opinion, he has said that rejecting salah, to say that salah is not a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is what pushes you out of the circle of Islam. If you leave one salah and you do not pray it knowingly, you are still in the fold of Islam, according to Imam Abu Hanifa. But this is such a severe thing that a major group of ulama have said that a person who consciously leaves one first salah goes out of the fold of Islam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a realization of this. فَقَدْ بَرِئَتْ مِنْهُ ذِمَّةُ اللَّهِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not care for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is broken. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not care for them, and whoever does to them, it is written in the explanation here that among the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever can do whatever they wish to them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not care about it. So the government may run after them, the ruler may run after them and kill them. Whatever is done to them, whatever injustice is done to them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not care about it. Or whatever, I shouldn't use the word injustice, because according to a lot of ulama, it is the justice to kill such a person who leaves one salah willingly, knowingly and consciously. But whatever happens to them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not care about it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that situation. وَلَا تَشْرَبَنَّ خَمْرًا فَإِنَّهُ رَأْسُ كُلِّ فَاحِشَةٍ. Do not drink alcohol. فَإِنَّهُ رَأْسُ كُلِّ فَاحِشَةٍ. Do not drink, for it is the basis of all fawahish, all immodesty. this is the reason why sharab or alcohol or drinking has been called ummul khaba'ith. This is when we say ummul khaba'ith, it basically means that this is the key from which everything else springs. So if it is ummul khaba'ith, it is that evil from which all other evils will spring, will come forth. So somebody who indulges in drinking, they are very much at risk of committing all the other major sins and disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِيَّاكَ وَالْمَعْصِيَةِ فَإِنَّ بِالْمَعْصِيَةِ حَلَّ سَخَطُ اللَّهِ. And be warned about ma'asiyah or disobedience or sinning, guna. Because فَإِنَّ بِالْمَعْصِيَةِ حَلَّ سَخَطُ اللَّهِ. Hal is basically a knot that is opened. A knot that is opened. Hal basically means a knot that is opened. So sinning or disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, going against the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, opens up the knot of the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whoever commits sin, they are putting themselves right in front of the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. وَإِيَّاكَ وَالْفِرَارَ مِنَ الزَّحْفِ وَإِنْ هَلَكَ النَّاسِ وَإِذَا أَصَابَ النَّاسَ مَوْتٌ وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ فَاثْبُتْ. Be warned about fleeing from somewhere where there is a plague, where there is some contagious disease that has spread. وَإِيَّاكَ وَالْفِرَارَ مِنَ الزَّحْفِ وَإِنْ هَلَكَ النَّاسِ. And do not, so before that, do not turn your back away from fighting, jihad. Although people may be dying excessively, people may be being killed excessively, do not turn away from the battle. وَإِذَا أَصَابَ النَّاسَ مَوْتٌ وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ فَاثْبُتْ. Something missing here in the translation. وَإِذَا أَصَابَ النَّاسَ مَوْتٌ وَأَنْتَ فِيهِمْ فَاثْبُتْ. And if people are afraid because of a plague or contagious disease that has spread, people are afraid of maut or death, or they are being afflicted with death, and you are among them, then stay there. And we read in tafsir about the details of this, that what is the wisdom behind people staying there. Of course, generally what people think is that if somebody takes that plague out of that colony and spreads it, that is going to harm. But in tafsir we had read the wisdom that it is actually the best for that person himself to stay in there, because when somebody is sick, the first advice is that they should not travel, because they cannot bear the hardships of travel. And also, it's particularly about plague, if we read about it scientifically, it gets much worse if someone does not rest, or someone starts to travel or begins to toil. But anyway, so the Prophet ﷺ has commanded to stay steadfast in a place where people may be dying because of a contagious disease. And then the last two sentences of the hadith that we did last time, وَأَنْفِقْ عَلَىٰ عِيَالِكَ مِنْ طَوْلِكَ. Spend upon your people, upon your family, as per your capacity. وَلَا تَرْفَعْ عَنْهُمْ عَصَاكَ. And do not, وَلَا تَرْفَعْ عَنْهُمْ عَصَاكَ أَدَبًا. And do not, Hazrat has translated it as more or less as to give them adab, discipline them, keep them disciplined. Be hard upon them, be strict upon them when needed for adab. وَأَخِفْهُمْ فِي اللَّهِ. And create in their hearts the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make them connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this tradition as written. Inshallah, we'll stop here. And wassalamu ala sayyidil mursaleen ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم إنا نسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير ما سألك من عبدك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، ونعوذ بك من شر كل ما استعاذ منه عبدك نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. أنت المستعان وعليك البلاء ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.